万门大学的小伙伴们，大家好，我是兰菲利博士，是莱特研究大学的应用神经科学的教授。我今天给你们介绍Bob Wright 博士的一些研究，但今天要给你们讲归属感。那么归属感很重要。我在芝加哥大学跟 John Cacioppo 博士一起学习的时候，发现孤单对生活不仅仅会影响到我们对世界的看法，也会对我们身体的影响。有很多20世纪很著名的研究发现，其实不仅是猴子，也是人都会对触摸都会重视这个。如果婴儿或者小孩没有被触摸，他们很容易死亡，很容易有不好的身体。这个对我们的发展和成长会有很大的影响。今天莱特博士会给你们讲，归属感不仅仅会影响到婴儿的发展，也会影响到我们成年人对世界的一些看法和行为。那我们就开始课程吧。
Welcome. I'm Dr. Bob Wright, Professor of Transformational Leadership and Coaching at the Wright Graduate University for the Realization of Human Potential. And I'd like to talk to you about belonging. What do you think it takes to belong in groups and enjoy yourself? The critical part of that was, and enjoy yourself. What percentage of people do you think actually are themselves in groups? A lot of times people say 50, 75%. The truth of the matter is, all the way back to Dr. Lovinger's research and current research from Robert Keegan at Harvard, 25 to 15% of the population actually belong in groups, can enjoy themselves and fully be themselves in those groups. That's a pretty big challenge. But what's going on with the rest? 75% of the rest, plus or minus, have a thing called loss aversion. This is Nobel Prize winning research. They have loss aversion. They are afraid of losing face. They are afraid that they will be judged and pushed outside of the group. Loss aversion. A big challenge for all of us. The problem is, if I don't risk losing your respect and your care, I'll never really have it. You will never really know me. I will not know you. But the challenges to really be ourselves and belong in groups are different for each of us. As you see on this care profile behind me, we have cooperators and analyzers who are low-risk people. The cooperator may seem relaxed in the group, but there's a lot going on that they're not saying, so they're not really enjoying themselves. And the analyzer doesn't even think about enjoying themselves because they're busy analyzing and studying what's going on. Those are our low-risk personalities. The high-risk personalities are the regulator and the energizer. The regulator may talk a lot, may speak forcefully, acts like they know what they're doing, acts like they not only belong, but they should be leading this group. But are they really being honest? Are they really showing up in the group? And the energizer can be the life of the party. But oftentimes they have to hide their tears. So one of the things that I love doing is helping people learn to enjoy themselves in group, to fully be themselves. And now in one of our other talks, we talked about self-compassion. That's the starting point. That's the research of Neff and Barker, that we're more likely to enjoy being in groups if we have self-compassion. What does that mean? It means that I understand that I'm afraid of being rejected. It means that I'm willing to make mistakes, to look bad. In another one of our talks, we're going to go into the growth mindset and why it's so important. But right now, we want to talk about the fact that the cooperator needs to learn to talk more. And the analyzer not only needs to learn to talk more, but to feel more. And I had the opportunity to work with a writer who was a cooperator analyzer. As a cooperator, he was concerned about feeling. See, the cooperator and the energizer are the feeling styles, whereas the regulator and the analyzer are the thinking styles. We all need to learn and grow. We all need to learn how to be like others. And boy, did he need to learn to be more like an energizer. Did he need to learn to be more like a regulator? Because when he was in public and he talked, you could barely hear him talk. He was so afraid of saying something wrong. He could sit with a group of people for a very long time and not say anything. He thought that success at a social event was not embarrassing himself. And to him, it was torture. Well, why am I telling you about that? That's not a lot of fun. Well, today, he not only can operate in social groups very effectively, but he is emerging on the national scene in the United States as an expert in financial technology. He has connections. WeChat is not what we use, but like WeChat with thousands of people who want to hear him talk about things. But more than that, he enjoys being with others. But how did that happen? Well, first of all, he had to tell the truth about the fear. You're going to hear me say this over and over again. He had to tell the truth about the fear. But he also needed to work with other analyzer cooperators. They would challenge each other. Let's say you want to be more outgoing, that you want to be stronger in groups. One of the best things you can do is get friends who want to learn the same thing. Get honest with each other. Talk with each other, because that's what we do at the Right Foundation. He was in one of our groups, and he would talk one-on-one with a coach about his feelings. When he would go to a group, he would talk about what he liked, what he didn't like, what worked and what didn't work. Analyzing ourselves is critical. Make sure that you check out our growth mindset talk. But he would analyze that. But then he would analyze it with his other group members, and they would sometimes go to events together, and they would support each other, and they would stop and go aside at the event, and they would talk about how they were feeling. They would talk about how they were feeling about people at the event, because groups of people are actually lots of individuals. Some of the individuals they liked, some they didn't like, some they were more afraid of than others, and they would encourage each other to interact more and more, thereby developing what we talked about on one of our other shows, social emotional intelligence. He learned to recognize what he was feeling and to express it. He also learned to read that what other people were feeling and to influence them. He began to feel more and more potent in life. He started enjoying conversations. He started picking out the people he really wanted to be with. He started building a much bigger circle of friends. But it all started with him being honest. In order to belong in groups, self-compassion is critical. But risking, understanding, stretching ourselves is also very, very important, which requires that we be very, very honest. Remember, I said 75 to 85% of the planet is more afraid of rejection than acceptance. They live to avoid rejection more than they live to belong and be accepted. If you feel alone in groups, you are not alone. Most of the people in that room feel exactly the same way. Start talking to people a little more honestly. You may want to put it out in the WeChat group and get some other people going. And start having fun as you learn and grow and become more and more yourself and discover aspects of yourself that you never imagined you would do or be. So thank you for joining me for this little talk. I hope to see you again.